Hello, you all. Welcome to Oliveboard. I hope I'm audible to you all. Have you all seen the marathon session which I took in the morning? If not, then go and look at the session. I have discussed reports and indices over there. But before moving ahead, please confirm if I'm audible to you. Thank you, Aditya. So let's start with the class. First, let us discuss the homework question, which was. Just a minute, guys. Yeah. So tomorrow I am planning to take questions on budget economic survey, some questions, some important questions which are from NFHS 5, also from the census part. I'll be taking questions. So be ready for tomorrow at 9:30. We'll be having a question session over there. Okay. So as said to you, your homework was to actually learn all the NDCs of India. So Aditya, thanks for the answer. Let's discuss what is there in the NDCs. So India's nationally determined contribution, every country has to give this NDCs. Every country has to give this NDCs, nationally determined contribution, every 5 years. To whom? To UNFCCC Secretariat. So this Secretariat actually collects. Kshitij, that will be for Nabard primarily, but for RBI students, I would like to tell you, you can just watch whatever is being taught. आपको उससे एक notch तो ऊपर ही prepare करना होगा. So, what is this all about? It tells you about how India is going to reach towards the net zero emission target, which our country has set by 2070. So, by 2070, India wants to become net zero. Next thing. So, these are the 5 NDCs. The first NDC says that reducing emissions intensity by 45%. We have to reduce our emission intensity by 45% below 2005 levels by 2030. Next thing, achieving 50% cumulative electric power installed capacity from non-fossil fuel means renewable energy by the year 2030. Increasing non-fossil fuel capacity by 500 gigawatt by 2030 again. 50% of its energy requirement will be come from the renewable energy 2030 again. Reduction of total projected carbon dioxide emissions by 1 billion ton from now to 2030. That was what was being pledged by India in the NDC to UNFCCC. I hope you can remember these things. These are very easy. Now, a question for you all. वैसे तो ये स्कीम काफी पुरानी है, but the data was there in news in your PIB. Let's have a look at this. A program for the welfare of areas and people affected by mining related operations was there. So this program or the scheme was started by Ministry of Mining on September 17th, 2015. This scheme is implemented by the District Mineral Foundation DMF. Identify the scheme. So you need to identify which of the following scheme is correct. What do you think could be the correct answer over here? Is it option number A, B, C, D or E? Which of the scheme are we talking about? We are talking about over here. Anybody, if you can answer? If somebody of you could answer, please tell me. What could be the answer to this? So this is your District Mineral Foundation. This was in news primarily because the report, the PIB stated that 644 districts have now set up their DMF. DMF is basically a non-profit body that work for the interest of those people who are actually affected by mining or mining related activities. So this DMF was actually under your Pradhan Mantri Khanij Kshetra Kalyan Yojana. This is an important scheme. This DMF also has a DMF fund. So this fund actually is being used for upliftment of the people living in these areas by providing them ample education, drinking water supply, health, welfare of women, and many other social sector reforms. Next thing, let us now discuss about the Pradhan Mantri Khanij Kshetra Kalyan Yojana. This scheme was launched in the year 2015 by Ministry of Mines. Act was there, which is by the name Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Amendment Act 2015, which actually mandated that in each district DMFs should be made, and that will this DMF will be responsible for implementing the scheme. Next thing, in all the case of mining leases, इसने the fund which I was talking about, the DMF fund, this fund, इस fund में पैसा कहाँ से आता है? Then under the scheme it was being said कि अगर किसी की mining lease January 2015 से पहले की है, that is going to contribute 30% of their royalty to DMF. And अगर इसके बाद की लीज है, then they would be giving 10% of their loyalty, 10% of their royalty to the fund. और इस fund से जो पैसा है would be used for several purposes. 60% of the funds under the scheme will be used for drinking water supply, health, education, environment preservation. The rest 40% will be used in other areas like creation of physical infrastructure, irrigation, energy, watershed development. I hope you are clear with this. Next thing, so option number A is the correct answer. This is an important scheme. Next thing, annual joint HADR exercise, which is by the name Chakravat 2023, will be hosted by which of the following organizations? So which of the following organization is hosting this exercise for the year 2023? What do you think would be the answer? इसका आंसर क्या हो सकता है? Okay, even if you are guessing, please tell me what could be the answer to this. Let's have, okay, Kshitij is saying D. Let's have a discussion over this as well. So annually this exercise is being conducted, also known as Humanitarian Assistance and Disaster Relief, HADR. This exercise, as other name is Chakravat. This year it will be held in Goa. Another important fact you need to remember. In the month of October only. हर साल सर्कुलेशन में इंडियन आर्मी, नेवी और एयरफोर्स करते हैं. इस साल इंडियन नेवी की टर्न है. सो करेक्ट आंसर टू द क्वेश्चन वुड बी इंडियन नेवी ओनली. एंड सिर्फ डिफेंस फोर्सेस इसमें पार्ट नहीं लेते हैं. देयर आर अदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस एज वेल, लाइक योर एनडीएमए, नेशनल डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी, योर नेशनल डिजास्टर रिस्पॉन्स फोर्स, your National Institute for Disaster Management. So all these organizations are also a part of your Chakravat exercise. So basically जो चक्रवात एक्सरसाइज है, ये कहीं ना कहीं इंडिया की जो सागर विजन है, विजन सागर, which is by the name security and growth for all in the region, इस विजन को प्रमोट करने के लिए this was being there. No worries, Kshitij. So करेक्ट ऑप्शन ओवर हेयर इज ऑप्शन नंबर ए, दैट इज इंडियन नेवी. तो वैसे तो हर साल चेंज होता है, रोटेशनल बेसिस पे होता है, समटाइम एयरफोर्स, नेवी, आर्मी. सो दिस टाइम इंडियन नेवी. नाउ व्हाट इज द प्राइमरी ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ 40 after 40 event supported by IDFC First Bank and organized by Outlook Group? तो एक important fact तो यही हो गया that who has organized this 40 after 40? It is by your IDFC plus your Outlook Group. I want to ask you one thing. What could be the what could be the objective? What is the correct option? Is it to promote travel and leisure activities for the individuals over 40, to provide retirement resources, to encourage entrepreneurship, to organize a sports and fitness event for individual over 40, or to offer financial investment opportunities to individual over 40? What could be the answer, please? Hi guys, am I audible to you all? Because I have some issue with the streaming. If you are please live, then please tell me is what could be the right answer. No worries, we'll move ahead. So Outlook, I hope my class is live as of now, because there is some issue for sure. E-guess. Okay. ठीक है. Thank you. So Outlook Group has in partnership with your IDFC First Bank has actually launched an event 40 after 40. What is this focusing upon? It is actually focusing on your retirement related discussions, because you know why retirement related discussions are in news now, because this is being said that a 41% increase hoga hamare old age population mein by the year of we reach 2031. So by next decade we are going to experience 41% rise in our old age population. So बिकॉज हमारे यहाँ पे इस तरह का इवेंट होने वाला है, डेमोग्राफिक चेंज होने वाला है, therefore many a times countries are being coming ahead. I want to ask you one question. What is silver economy? What is silver economy? To all those who are live in the class, answer what is silver economy. The first two event and expo, this expo would be organized at your Geo World Convention in the play in Mumbai. I hope I am audible, right? Okay, now tell me what is silver economy. Next thing, so what could be the correct answer? Answer is this option, because it actually talks about your retirement and retirement related uh, insights for the people who are above the age of 40. Okay, moving ahead, match the following with their appropriate. Match the following, please. Look over here. Let's focus over here. Fiscal deficit. What is fiscal deficit? You need to match. What is fiscal deficit? Fiscal deficit is total expenditure. Silver economy includes all those economic activities which are being designed to meet the needs of people over 50. Yes, Aditya, you are right. It is to meet the needs of the people who are above 50 years of age. Now, please tell me this. What is fiscal deficit? What is revenue deficit? What is effective revenue deficit? And what is primary deficit? What is fiscal deficit? First, let us start with that only. What could be the answer of fiscal deficit? So, fiscal deficit is total expenditure. It is total expenditure, revenue receipt, and non-debt capital receipt. What is revenue deficit? Revenue deficit is your revenue expenditure minus revenue receipt. What is effective revenue deficit? It is revenue deficit minus grants for the creation of capital asset. And what is primary deficit? It is fiscal deficit minus interest payment. Do you all know about all these type of deficit? Please tell me if you know about this. Otherwise, we'll have a brief discussion about why I'm talking about these deficit now. There was a newspaper report that was talking about your India's fiscal deficit that has actually rose to near about 6.42 trillion. So what was this saying? The report was from Controller General of Accounts, which is your CGA. It said that for the quarter April to August, our fiscal deficit has increased. This accounts for 36% of the rise, as it accounts for 36% of the target of the year's target. So we have actually used 36% of the year's target that was being set by our government in budget. What is primary deficit? If I talk about primary deficit, देखो fiscal deficit तो क्या होता है? Total expenditure या फिर what is fiscal deficit? Fiscal deficit is whatever I have whatever is the country's expenditure minus whatever is the country's revenue. अगर expenditure ज़्यादा है means we are sorry, whatever is the country's revenue minus expenditure. अगर revenue ज़्यादा है, revenue मतलब if the country is earning more and spending less, the fiscal deficit will come out to be positive, and this is a very good scenario. If this revenue part is less and expenditure part is more, the value of fiscal deficit would be negative. That means we are spending more than what we are earning. And this is what the thing India has a problem with. We have a lot of fiscal deficit because हमारा tax का revenue उतना नहीं है, but हमारा expenditure is definitely high. So अगर expenditure किसी भी country का high होता है, country goes for borrowing. So what is primary deficit? See, primary deficit is फिस्कल डेफिसिट माइनस द इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट्स। देखो इस साल हमने सारा जो भी बोरो किया वो ठीक है, बट इससे पिछले साल भी बोरो किया होगा, द प्रीवियस ईयर वी माइट हैव बोरोड समथिंग, तो जो उस पे इंटरेस्ट है वो वी आर पेइंग रेगुलरली। तो जो पहले बोरो किया उसका इंटरेस्ट अगर हम इस साल के फिस्कल डेफिसिट से माइनस करेंगे, वी विल गेट प्राइमरी डेफिसिट, एंड दिस शोज कि इस साल गवर्नमेंट ने कितना बोरो किया है। तो प्राइमरी डेफिसिट हैज ऑल्सो stood at 2.75 ट्रिलियन। प्राइमरी डेफिसिट हम क्यों कैलकुलेट करते हैं? बिकॉज वी वांट टू सी कि जो गवर्नमेंट है उसकी एबिलिटी से वो कितना ज्यादा स्पेंड कर रही है प्रेजेंट डे पे। अगर उसकी एबिलिटी उतना एक्सपेंडिचर की नहीं है, देन ऑल्सो इट इज स्पेंडिंग, देन देयर इज एन इशू। So that's why this is what you call it as your primary deficit. Just a minute, guys. What is revenue deficit? Revenue deficit is revenue expenditure minus revenue receipt. What is revenue expenditure या फिर revenue deficit? देखो, whenever you come across a term capital or revenue, when I say capital, what does capital means? Capital means all those expenditure. Capital expenditure means all that expenditure जो कि long term के लिए होता है. And revenue expenditure basically means your day-to-day expenses. If you want to learn over if you want to actually have a discussion over all these things, what is revenue, what is capital, we need to have that discussion before your budget or your economic survey is being there. So we'll have a discussion over this. Prathwin, I'm sorry, I'll speak in English. I'll try to speak more in English then. इसके बारे में if you want to have a brief discussion, we'll have a discussion either in a separate class. You can raise a query for that as well. So what is revenue deficit? Revenue deficit is revenue expenditure minus revenue receipt. Means our revenue deficit is rupees 2.84 trillion. What does this show? This shows that हमारे जो day to day expenses है, our day to day expenses are somewhat more than what we are earning. Our revenue part is less. This is what this data shows. Next thing, despite our fiscal deficit which has increased, we have a strong tax revenue. What does the strong tax revenue means? It simply means that we are able to collect more of taxes. Our tax collection has definitely increased, and it is increasing every year. So this shows that we have a positive tax collection, and government has more tax to spend more on the social welfare schemes. Next thing, what is government capital expenditure? Government capital expenditure has stood at 3.74 lakh crore. The question for you guys is, इस year के लिए your budget of this year 23-24, how much amount of capital expenditure government has promised? What is the capex that government has promised? What is the capital expenditure for this very year, which will end in 2024? This capital expenditure, what is the amount of that? It is 10 lakh crore. It is 10 lakh crore, which was there in your budget only. So this is approximately 3.3% of your GDP. So government of India is using this much of GDP for your capital expenditure, basically to form infrastructure or for other developmental projects like construction of roadways, highways, railways. That is what the data says. So you can read the question from the PDF and try to answer. अगर किसी को नहीं समझ में आता, you can contact me over this. Next thing, Hyderabad, India, a place obviously. Hyderabad, India proudly inaugurated its first solar roof cycling track. What is the name of that cycling track? The solar roof cycling track. What is the name of that cycling track? Is it solar spinway, solar speedster, solar skylane, healthway, or solar pedal path? What is the correct answer? See, that's why I am saying ESI में directly question static से नहीं आएगा, but definitely these type of questions can come, that what is the type of deficit, या what is the definition of deficit. I hope you can relate to me. Now tell me what could be the answer of this. Hyderabad, India proudly inaugurated its first solar roof cycling track. What could be the answer? The answer to this is Healthway. So Healthway is the track that has been there for the cycling, which is basically which is using your solar energy. So option number D is correct over here. Moving ahead. bail identification and traceability system which uses your blockchain technology. Which of the following is related? Yeah, which of the following crop is related to your bail identification and traceability system? Please answer. Which of the following is related to your bail identification traceability system? I am waiting for your answers, guys. So correct option for this is your cotton. Why was this in news? Because recently we have celebrated World Cotton Day. So on that day, Ministry of Textile, obviously cotton ki baat hai, so which ministry would be there? It will be your Ministry of Textile. It has hosted a conference by the name Enhancing Quality and Productivity of Indian Cotton through Policy, Innovation and Technological Upgradation. This event, who conducted the event? It was conducted by your Cotton Corporation of India, CCI, and your European Resource Efficiency Initiative. A homework question for you all. Some days before, I talked about Turmeric Board of India. Where is this Turmeric Board of India situated? Turmeric Board of India. Need an answer in the comment section. What all did the Ministry of Textile does was, it has for transparency for both Indian as well as international buyers, we have come up with this bail identification traceability system. It is basically a QR based system where we can see ye cotton ki crop, where it was grown and where we are. Next thing, Ministry of Textile has introduced a Kasturi cotton program, which is there, which is a premium quality cotton trace, which is to trace the premium quality cotton. Next thing, Texprosil. Texprosil. What is Texprosil? It is basically a collaboration with your CCI and Ministry of Textile to oversee the implementation of the Kasturi cotton program. So correct option over there is option number E. What is the primary purpose of a status holder certificate in the context of foreign trade policy in India? When I talk about foreign trade policy in India, what is the purpose of your status holder certificate? What is the status holder certificate? Is it option number A, B, C, D or E? What could be the wild guess which you can make out of this? Is it to identify the prohibited goods for exports? Or it is to categorize goods based on their value? To recognize and incentivize successful and compliant exporters? To import tariffs on foreign goods, or to regulate the quality of goods for export? What could be the correct answer? Option number A. No, Aditya, you are wrong. Kshitij, you are also wrong. Let us see why was this in news. Ministry of Commerce, basically Commerce Ministry, said that they will be having a status holder certificate. What is this holder certificate? Actually, abhi tak kya hota tha? Up till now, the exporter were required to file an online application, and with that online application, they had to present this export certificate, which was issued by a chartered accountant. Okay. And this was submitted to your DGFT regional office, where they were issuing the certificate within the next 3 days that okay, now they can export. तो export करने के लिए certificate लेना पड़ता था और वो इस उसका ये इतना लंबा process था. Government of India, because नया foreign trade policy है, we want to boost our export. So what is now the new arrangement is that the certification is granted now every year. So har bar you need not go before the export. You need not go every time to the office. Now once in every year you will be given your certificate to do export. And on what basis this export certificate will be given? It will be given on the basis of your annual exports. So पिछले साल की figures को compare करके they will be giving you the certificates. Next thing. Under the new scheme, the Department of Commerce will be recognizing about 20,000 exporters as of now. In the previous year, it was only 12,518. So definitely isse increase hoga, and our foreign trade policy is also there to actually do ease of doing business. So hame ease of doing business ko बढ़ाने के लिए this will help. Now the correct option to this is option number C, to recognize and incentivize successful and compliant exporter. तो जो भी exporters जो है वो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के नॉर्म से comply करेगा तो उनको इस तरह का incentive मिलेगा. That was what was there. So that's all for today. So a homework question for you all. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Sagar Parikrama. To all those who are attending the lecture live, you need to comment down below two things. एक तो Turmeric Board of India, where is it? And the next thing is you need to tell me about Sagar Parikrama. What is Sagar Parikrama? That's all for today from my side. If you have any issues regarding the session, you can contact me over here. rest. That's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.